Welcome to Paris. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 2013 World Table Tennis Championships in the Palais Omnisport de Paris-Bercy. Round of 16 in the men's singles division, and we're seeing an appearance of the reigning world champion from China. He is the man in the red, the man in the picture here is Zhang Jike from China. And whom is he playing? It is on the right, from Austria, Robert Gardos, 43 years old, excuse me, 34 of course, as is his world ranking. Robert Gardos yesterday beat Omar Assad from Egypt 4 games to 3 by the narrowest of margin. He remains in this tournament in round 16. His opponent, Zhang Jike, played a phenomenal match, which we've seen on TV as well, against his compatriot Fang Zhedong, the only 16-year-old player. The surprise in the lineup from China, if you will. Head coach Liu Guoliang trusted him enough to let him play in the men's singles division, and a fine job he did of it. Only lost to the world champion. Players are now being introduced by the MC. In Bercy here we have, I would say, round about 8,000–9,000 spectators at the moment at this World Championships. It is already incredibly noisy here, very good atmosphere, very tense. Crowd has been appreciative of great table tennis. Very knowledgeable crowd here. Love to see spectacular table tennis, and that is what we've seen in all of the 6 days of this competition, and we'll continue to see until its very end. And I'm sure this game as well will be a display of skill and a fearsome exchange of rallies. My name is Sebastian Hallen, proud to once again welcome Mikael Andersson by my side here as a co-commentator. Mikael, welcome back.
Thank you very much. And of course, it's going to be interesting to see Zhang Jike, as you say. He beat the young upcoming Chinese World Junior Championship Fan in the last round. And Robert Gardos, at this point in his career, 34 years old. Let's see if he can play relaxed and get into it right away. And as we said before here, if he has any ambition to win this match, he needs to show right away that he's in this to win it. Of course, play aggressive. And I'm sure that's exactly what his coach is telling him here now. There's no doubt that they know how to do it. On this stage here, can you... Zhang Jike is so hard because his physical ability to move around in the court is great, and it means that you have to take those rallies early and try to start them a little bit. Throughout the year, maybe Zhang Jike has lost a few matches here and there, so let's see if he's on top of his game. Gardos is a professional. He's been around for a long time, played many important team events for his Austrian team, and also individually for sure he's done good results.
Absolutely agree on that. We have seen Zhang Jike struggle in the past. Much speculation on the table tennis world. Why is that the case? I mean, he's been only 24 years old last year. He's won the World Cup. He is the Olympic champion. He is the world champion. Only one among 3 players in China to ever achieve this inside of 1 year. The other one is sitting in the corner here, coaching him in the background, Liu Guoliang, as well as the head coach of the women's national team, Kong Ling Hui. These three names are now among of the legends. Zhang Jike is still very young, still in the prime of his career, and he has already achieved this. And you're right, he has lost in the past, in the last few months, quite a few games to foreign players as well. To Taku Takakiwa in the Austrian Open 2013, as well as Chen Qianan in Guangzhou at the World Team Cup earlier this year. But he has shown yesterday he is 100% in this tournament. And I think I speak for all table tennis fans in the world, it is always a pleasure to see Zhang Jike at his best.
He's such a competitor. That's what I like with him. He's there to win, and he's such an individual, such a strong competitor with such a tough mentality when he goes into the court. And I'm sure that he's the kind of player that wants to play very well here. And I got the feeling when I heard him on the press conference the first day that he's really looking forward to play here in Paris. And of course, it's a question of motivation also after a tough Olympic year to come back and play good right away. I mean, these players now in China are also individually strong, and they kind of regulate a little bit their motivation, and when they play good. And he's a champion, and a champion will never give up.
Very well said. Wise words from Mikael Andersson. While these two players now get ready.
Zhang versus Gardos.
And the game starts, the entertainment starts, ladies and gentlemen. The action of the men's singles match, round of 16 at the World Championship, and the world champion to serve in this best of 7 game.
One love.
Yeah, can he keep up the tempo though? I mean, Gardos is also one of these players that like the longer rallies and keeps the ball on the table well. Power, speed, and so on. It's always been an issue in his game, so I'll be surprised if I see something of a different nature here, but obviously he has to trust that he can place the ball well and be aggressive with his backhand side and maybe win the backhand game to start with.
Completely different game than the one we saw earlier with the panel player Xu Xian. As you have suggested it, Zhang Jike indeed a backhand-oriented player. We talked about this yesterday, that we may be seeing a, if you will, a renaissance of the backhand. Usually was the case that players tend to use forehand as much as possible. 60% forehand, 40% backhand at the least. Some Chinese player pushing it even further. And the players of the younger generation, like we see here, Fan Jiandong, we've seen Yan An, we've seen Fang Bo, Zhang Jike and Ma Long, all players that tend to use the backhand more and more often. With Zhang Jike, it is even, I would say, 50-50 in backhand and forehand.
But this is well played by Gardos. It really got in there on the shorter turn, did a lot of work with his racket, and then played a tactically strong backhand down the line. So, of course, that's what you have to do against a player like Zhang Jike. But then take that point. Like, you have to accept that, okay, sometimes it's going to punish you right away, but you have to show him that direction and placement of the ball in order to disturb him a little bit. A lot of players stay within his back and let him go around the corner. It will not work very well for you. That's an incredible wrist action there, right there. And so much spin on the ball, and Gardos, of course, he's not a powerful player, but he had no chance to get that ball over the net. Well done, and he's on his toes, and I like that from Gardos. He's trying to get into it right away and show that he's not here to just put himself flat on the back. He's here to compete, and that's important.
5-4.
Nice slow motion study. We can indeed see that. Even looks fast in slow motion, the wrist from Zhang Jike. Incredible acceleration and just a bit more spin than you expect. And he has, to boot, one of the fastest legs in professional table tennis. He's the best athlete on the Chinese team, and that has to count for something.
We're discussing with one, in fact, his private coach, actually coaching him normally, and he's of course here in Paris watching. Now you have Li Guliang at the side, but his private coach, we're talking about this training regime, and it's 6:30 to 7:30 morning and physical, and then 2 sessions a day. And at one time, it practice stops 9 in the evening. Then Zhang Jike will be there to 10:30. So this is a guy that really went for it and prepared unbelievable well. Been a tough player to deal with for the Chinese team. Also, it's been suspended occasionally, sent back to the provincial team early in his career and so on. But now, of course, being the champion, I'm sure he has a little bit more wiggle room.
9-4.
But still working hard, obviously.
Same can be said for Robert Gardos, by the way. Always the first at practice and the last to leave the hall as well.
Nice stretch. Also Zhang Jike on the backhand side, really putting his, see him on there, I like that one. Putting his body behind the backhand so you don't cheat with your footwork, even if you play only backhand, and that's a good lesson to have. A lot of players do tend to stand still with the backhand game.
5-10.
5-10 in the meanwhile. 4-5 game points already for the world champion. Attempting here behind the back shot, as Daniel Habesson from Austria yesterday did in the doubles. The difference is that time it worked.
10-6.
Nicely done from Robert Gardos, more or less lifting the ball, not that much topspin on it.
Premièrement, Gaudi 11-8.
(11-6) is the score of the first game. Zhang Jike in the lead over Robert Gardos, 1-0.
J'en profite également pour vous dire que les deux joueurs Roland Garros et Gaudi, joueurs d'un club français, Start STT, finalistes de la Ligue des Champions 2013, battu par Orenburg, le club de Dimitri Krotcherov, Vladimir Samsonov, Alexis Smirnov. Autre joueur évoluant en France, que nous avions vu, Marco Smetas, qui joue à Pontoise-Sergi.
Back at game number 2. First one won by the world champion
Second game.
Zhang
Gardos to
Jike.
serve. La vol. Love 1.
Interesting also with Gardos, been there for so many years, really a top European player, competing hard. And I take him as an example of a young player who I saw in the age of cadets, 14, 15 years old, not with so much of a game actually, but started to come through, learn to serve well, and build this game from, as you said, a lot of hard work. And of course, it's rewarding for such a player to be here in the quarterfinal.
Absolutely. Recent success include being European champion in the double, actually, with Daniel Habesson. Great serve from Zhang Jike.
1-3.
Setting this up once again.
It's fascinating example for if you make a little bit of a mistake, what will happen, because you can might as well go to the corner right away after this. And we consider it in let's say leisure table tennis, so well, you still have a chance to recover. Here the ball just is in the corner without you have the opportunity to blink of an eye and you pick up the ball.
Absolutely no margins for error when playing against the top Chinese players. If you have the opportunity to score, you need to use it, because that opportunity will very rarely be coming again. On the other side of the court, the Chinese, they use all the opportunities they get to score. They almost never leave it out.
That's why you see those scores of 11-5, 11-4 also in some games. It seems like they have no chance. Really, it's a question of doing everything almost perfect. And the unforced error is maybe one, possibly per game. And then for a player like Gardos needs to play absolutely fantastic to be up there and hang in there in the matches. So.
Nicely done. This is what Robert Gardos should be looking for, his strength. The backhand in front of the body, especially the acceleration of the wrist. Of course, that is where Zhang Jike is also very comfortable.
Gardos want spin and a little bit speed down to his backhand side, because he can return speed quite well. So that's a good rally for Gardos to take. Backhand, he moved into a little bit to the middle, but read that ball. And
crucial point for him. The crowd in Paris lifting him as well. Of course, they are supporting the European players here. Six to 4. But Robert Gardos was attempting to play that topspin with the left hand. Although I don't think there was any need to do that. Had a real chance of scoring with the right hand.
he didn't look 100% comfortable with his left hand, but I mean, he played a good point, actually. Was over there and that saved that ball there, but never did hit the ball with his left hand. So
Noshat Alamian from Iran has shown us the day before yesterday how it's done the right way.
5-6.
Playing competitively with both hands, not just the vanity trick shot, but does indeed switch the hands during the rally sometimes. Another point for Gardos.
the only thing to look for also sometimes with Zhang Jike is that he's one of those players that can actually fall asleep a little bit and make a few mistakes. Actually, he's unbelievably strong to come back sometimes, and unbelievable tough on the finishing points and so on. But occasionally he does have a tendency to dip his head a little bit and make a few mistakes. So good for Gardos. 7-5 is a good lead, and with the serve as well.
8-5.
Make that 8. Great serve. A lot of backspin on the serve. The first time he done that high toss serve too. Saved it up for this occasion, I'm sure. And I agree with you. I've seen this from Zhang Jike in the past as well. This stepping so slightly off the gas when he's in the lead. And he is indeed very strong. He can step up his game at will. But this is the World Championships, and these are special rules that apply here. And he has to really watch out that he indeed can come back from that. 10-5, it is not that likely. Game points now to the Austrian player.
those two serves coming up now, of course, extremely important for Gardos. I mean, he showed the high toss last time. Served two actually very good, executed two good services. One deep down to Zhang Jike's back, and the other one same throw, short forehand. So, yeah.
And he scores. 11-6. Applauded by the spectators in Paris. Robert Gardos equalizes to 1 game each. Third game commencing. It is 1 game each between the world champion Zhang Jike from China and Robert Gardos from Austria. We talked about experience. The 34-year-old Gardos, he's been around the world tour for so long. He has been playing since 1997 was his first appearance. Solid performances up to 2013. Very well done. I'm not sure if Zhang Jike even thought about that ball coming back to the table.
I mean, a good return really on a good serve by Zhang Jike. I'm surprised that he got so much, but he's doing exactly the right thing. He's going in there with a lot of action in his wrist on the serve and kind of counteracts the lot of spin that Zhang Jike puts on it. So
3-0. It was once again these kinds of situations where I didn't touch the ball in the right way, maybe misjudged the spin a little here, and Zhang Jike immediately took action, and just one shot needed to win the point. Wow!
good read, and that's Robert Gardos table tennis at his best, actually. Staying close to the table, working actively with his backhand side, and really reading that ball deep in forehand when Zhang Jike went close with his forehand topspin.
If you think about the playing style from Robert Gardos, he is indeed one of the very few players who can go toe-to-toe with Zhang Jike in backhand versus backhand.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that, you know, so far, if you look at it, I mean, especially in, of course, the second game and the third game so far has been a little bit to his liking. I mean, he's getting his time and he's feeling that in backhand he can be strong. And Zhang Jike, for some reason, and he showed also Zhang Jike that he can play it down the line quickly. So, of course, there's some hesitation there for Zhang Jike, who normally likes to go around the corner also and use his forehand. Now stuck a little bit and maybe standing a little bit too static with his footwork for the moment.
Great reaction shot. He was indeed expecting that even. The side switch from Zhang Jike and playing with a forehand topspin indeed, the one he does right after this one here. A little bit lucky here with the net caught, but Robert Gardos was waiting on the parallel.
That one, I'm not sure he was too happy with it. He had quite a lot of time. That was a little bit of a soft return. You see that he had time and just failed to be friends with the net cord.
And another one. This, of course, puts quite the pressure on him. If you think about the situation you're in, expected Zhang Jike to be this huge favorite, and all of a sudden you lead against him. Maybe a bit nervous here, Robert Gardos. And that was a big point, and you can see Zhang Jike is not comfortable. That is one he usually does not miss.
Yeah, I see his footwork fading him a little bit. You know, normally that's good, a good balance, and he's pulling it very hard and thick. The timing is not perfect on his forehand, and you see a couple of times also where you go normally cross court with your forehand, you're a little bit not so comfortable with your timing on the ball. So you take the safe option and always go cross with your forehand. So let's see if he can be able to get his footwork going and really getting his better quality on his technique.
But here we have one of these situations I've been talking about earlier. This is a clear opportunity for Robert Gardos now. He just needs to make sure to use it. Like that, the world champion is back, and now things feel very different for Robert Gardos.
Yeah, I'll go back to that net out backhand and then a forehand flick right in the net. Those are two mistakes. That okay, it's a swing here now by you had at least one of them. You have 7-5 instead of 6-6. So it's very important now that he keeps getting into Zhang Jike's short service very quickly and don't hesitate now. Continue to take the ball early. Continue to work with your racket.
Next point coming up, immensely important for both these players. Once again, deceptive serve from Zhang Jike. Very difficult to judge what type of spin and how much of it even is on the ball.
It's perfect length because he's releasing a little bit longer serve now, and knowing that Gardos has been quite quick in on the short serve. So it's tactically smart also by Zhang Jike.
And this is just the hallmark of Zhang Jike. Look how quickly he recovers. He was caught in the wrong position on the next topspin here. Had to leave it a bit late, and then he's right back, and he hit the backhand topspin really on the perfect timing as well.
A wonderful shot, really, so much core strength behind that backhand shot.
And finally, Robert Gardos has scored again. He's now trailing behind 7-8.
Well done to get spin on that forehand. Although he was not in the perfect position, he got a lot of spin, and that kind of tricked Zhang Jike.
9-7.
For Zhang Jike. Has re-established himself. And now he's back. And Robert Gardos will be thinking a lot about the opportunities he has had in this game. 10-7, game points to Zhang Jike. And he takes it in an impressive manner to boot. 11-7, the final score of this third game. Zhang Jike once again up 2 games to 1. And we're back in the fourth game now. Zhang Jike up 2-1, and I was listening very carefully to Ferenc Kasai coaching Robert Gardos, and then I realized he's coaching in Hungarian. Because Robert Gardos, I believe his parents at least is of Hungarian descent.
Absolutely, and I think also in the beginning of his career actually represented Hungary before making the move to Austria.
That's right, and for a second there I thought my German has failed me.
Level.
What is interesting to me is that when we again compare this match with the performance of Markus Freitas there, these players do have some set of skills that allow them to go head-to-head with these top Chinese players. We see this with Markus Freitas with his athleticism, with his topspin against topspin. And now we see it in Robert Gardos in backhand topspin. And we see it in serve and receive especially. But these Chinese players, they're all very well rounded. They have all these skills in one player. Zhang Jike can do anything.
Yeah, they are so strong in all areas. I would say a player like Gardos still has a lot of things to really try to improve to be at the same level. Obviously, he is plus 30 in the world, and that's where you're not as complete. So that's the only explanation really to give. But they also improve their game all the time, and the Chinese, and work so hard. And I'm not saying that Gardos is not working hard. Obviously he's doing it. He's really a full-blooded professional in Europe. But to come out here on the international court and really to catch Zhang Jike and really be able to play with him, it requires so much from the players. And we saw in the third game that he got the opportunity, as you said, and then you have to take it. And you feel that as a player also, here's my opportunity, and then the nerves come flying, and that causes some issues. And now it's a question maybe of concentration, understanding that, okay, keep going, give me that opportunity back. But see, body language now is more of a negative sort, and that cannot be there. You have to really take the fight on the mental level as well. That's tough to do.
And I'm sure if you were to ask him after the match, he would say that he had the opportunity in the second game to turn it around, and I do believe you're absolutely right, Mikael. He's still thinking about that, and that is something you just must not do. You must check these things off and live in the present, really, and not linger on the mistakes you've made. Because look at this game, it is all Zhang Jike at the moment, 6-1.
I mean, it's a question of respect, and it's almost respect turning towards fear. So right in that span of mental thoughts you do live when you play the Chinese. And
that point keeping Gardos in the game.
Well done by Robert. He scored a few points, and now really you see how he worked with that service, and I prefer that he's really pushing through there. You've got to maximize your service in order to get anything to work with. It doesn't matter if it's a little bit too long sometimes.
And that's an important point too. I mean, your own serve, that is the only shot in the rally where you have full control over what is happening.
Serve against Zhang Jike and serve short, not with so good quality, then you get really a tough ball with him working his backhand topspin over the table server. I prefer maybe to serve a little bit longer like he did there and let him open. The ball come out to him a little bit, and that will give you a little bit more time. So that's maybe an easier ball to work on, actually. You gotta get a little bit more time. Those shots over the table is so tough. What do? You react, and you can do something, obviously, but it's a tough shot to face. Clever serve.
Very nice.
Yeah. 9-3 now for Zhang Jike. Still seeing some after effects of the third game here, especially in the beginning. Robert Gardos not fully focused for this game. And it happens like this, and all of a sudden it is 10-3, and he will be running behind 1-3, and then things get really, really difficult.
10-4.
Let's see now if he comes back with that one down the line. It's not that he necessarily needs to do it right away, but well down by Robert. Good to get those kind of points going in, and he maybe can get back a little bit of energy in a potential fifth game. Oh, we know he's going to get a fifth game anyway.
Fifth game at least, yeah.
10-5.
With Gardos taking his time here. This time, game point used by Zhang Jike. Once more, 11-5 is the score of this fourth game, and Zhang Jike firmly in the lead. 3-1. World Table Tennis Championships in Paris, France. Men's singles division and the round of 16. And we're seeing the reigning world champion in action from China. Zhang Jike, he's up 3-1 against the Austrian Robert Gardos, who has put up a good fight so far, especially in the second game. And in the beginnings of the third, and we'll see if he can catch up on that performance, maybe in this game.
Well, they'll new start like that because it's really a good rally and a good start by Gardos, who was extremely active and came out in the right distance also. Sometimes that gives you a little bit more time when you step out just a little bit, but still can keep the rally going with hitting the ball on the highest point. I mean, successful with that.
Zhang Jike stopped that in its tracks.
But he certainly have a lot of experience on the bench backing him in this match. Robert Gardos with Ferenc Karsai, long time serving Austrian coach, as you say, of Hungarian descent.
1-2.
He's been in that corner 10 years ago at the World Championships 2003. Well, his player then, the Austrian Werner Schlager, did manage to get into the finals and even become world champion. So he likes his seat there in the corner in Bercy. He no doubt wants to keep sitting there for another round, but that would mean Robert Gardos has to step up his game quite a bit, as Zhang Jike is already in the lead, 3-1.
A lot spin.
Timeout.
Also an interesting angle. And there's the timeout from Gardos, who obviously need to regroup in order to be able to come back here. There's no doubt about that. And if you go back also to look at some of the European players that may have that mental toughness, I would say, of course, Timo Boll doesn't have the same respect for the Chinese players, but Dmitry Ovcharov is the most interesting young player, and I think he's getting more and more capable to match them mentally and really show them something. And of course, he has his power and his speed and service and stuff like that that makes him a little bit more dangerous. Here you have a category of the Freitas, Gardos of the world that are fantastic player at up to one point, and then can these players take the step up and be top 10 players in the world? That's much more difficult. Obviously, Gardos maybe is now slowing down a bit and maybe even going down in terms of his level, but they like Marcos Freitas that we saw before. I mean, he has to learn so much from a match with Susin and then put it together and put it as an ambition of him to be there and beat them later on. It's going to be interesting, obviously, what happens here and also deeper into the tournament.
2-4.
At least it came back with some good shots there. I like the deep cut also, and I was happy with that. Probably something they talked over. You know, if it's short, don't give him something over the table to work with. Cut it down and work on that ball like that. So.
And overall, even if Robert Gardos is now to lose this match, maybe in the future we were thinking quite positively about this game. And when he's faced once again with Zhang Jike, he will feel more comfortable. His playing style, his technique fits quite well against Zhang Jike.
Yeah, I agree. I think that you know he's not maybe happy with some sequences in this match, but he can be happy with some of the stuff that he's been throwing to him. So I wouldn't be surprised if he can stay in a little bit, but then you know the body language, heads down and so on, it's just not good enough.
Six to 3 for Zhang Jike at the serve.
4-6.
And in all of these games, Robert Gardos is always scoring a few points here and there.
It's interesting with the Zhang Jike also, you know, like he's looking at his racket there, but his forehand technique, yes, at times he's actually dropping the ball a little bit, and if it's a concern for him or his coach, I don't know, but obviously to face some of his bodies in the Chinese team here and to beat them, I don't know. Then you must be perfectly with your technique in order to win the World Championships here in Paris, that's for sure. Especially if we have seen Susin play here before, you know, is that the guy you're going to knock off in a potential final? And
7-5.
Once again, point to Robert Gardos, working hard for that, and it paid off. Has been successful with that quite a few times. Hit the topspin on the forehand. He was waiting early on the bounce.
That would worry me a little bit with Zhang Jike. A couple of times deep, under pressure and deep forehand always cross in this match. And if that comes up against players like Malong or Susin, where they know where the ball is coming, then you get into deep trouble.
7-6.
And here's 7-6. Not over yet.
Clever serve and a bold serve too to do it at 7-7. He was running in the risk of Zhang Jike taking immediately the point with the backhand topspin.
Got a little bit kick in that serve also, a little bit side overspin and just bounced up a little bit. Zhang Jike hit it with the edge of his racket.
Once again, look at the body language. And it's always easy to say that when you're watching the game. Don't shrug your shoulders. Check that off. These things happen. You're still in a competitive way here in this game. It is 8-8. Nothing's lost yet. But you do, when executing such a mistake, you do feel, why did I do that? Why didn't I do something different?
Yeah, but it's a question also. I mean, I'm not saying Zhang Jike's body language is perfect or any player, but sometimes, you know, really top players have such an ability to play one point at a time regardless and play that maximum execution style of table tennis that you need to be successful in order to be successful in the World Championships of this nature. But now with the serve, so let's see what he can do. I mean, I like that high toss serve, maybe short forehand, or obviously took a huge risk on the second serve in the last time he served with the long fast against the backhand again. And, for sure, Zhang Jike is ready for that.
Crowd chanting, Robert trying to lift him here. Keep him in this match. No doubt want to be entertained a while longer from this match. But it is match point to the world champion. Zhang Jike can return these topspins so deep in the forehand. And what a screamer it was that finished this rally, finished the game and finished the match altogether. 11-9, the final score. We see the confirmation on the screen here. 4-1, 11-7, 11-5, 11-9 if you only take into account the last 3 games. Zhang Jike wins over Robert Gardos, remains in the quarterfinals of the World Championships. But what a fight Gardos has been putting up here. We really have to commend him for that.
Absolutely, and the match not only finished with a fantastic rally, but full credit to Robert Gardos. I think he did what he could do in a match like this. He's executed quite well, had good periods, won a game, and why not feel quite okay with that kind of performance.
Nonetheless, Zhang Jike remaining in this tournament. One more match coming up, ladies and gentlemen. And a few short moments, starting another one of the men's singles round 4 match. We have Yanan from China versus Zhuang Qiwan from Chinese Taipei.
Lundi, 2 finales sous médaille simple messieurs. Nous n'oublions pas non plus